face blindness, yet I became a cop. The station's laughingstock. My new partner could describe every face I can't remember. We solved a serial murder case. I fell for him. Here at his place, I found a wall of victim photos. Red X's marked them. My casual photo was in center. Label neck, my love. Yi-chan, this is your last chance. The captain slammed the file on my desk. Mess up again. And write your resignation. I stared at the file. The photo was just a blur of features. Woman, long hair, looked ordinary. 3 seconds later, I looked again. A stranger. Face blindness is a death sentence for a detective. In the office, faces all looked the same. I relied on hairstyles, clothes, voices. Once they changed outfits, I had to relearn them. Captain, don't captain me. Last time, I told you to watch Suspect 3, and you pointed at a civilian. The felon escaped. 2 officers got hurt, and you have the nerve? The captain was loud. My colleague's stares made me want to disappear. I was speechless. Just then, the door opened. Reporting? A woman's voice. Clean, steady. I looked up to see a figure in uniform, standing tall. I tried to see his face, but the details slipped away. Jiang Rao, newly transferred, she'll be your partner, Yi-chan, the captain said, annoyed. He looked at me. I looked away. Hi, I'm Jiang Rao. She reached out. I hesitated, then shook her hand. Her palm was warm and dry. Captain, is that the West City jewelry store robbery? Jiang Rao asked. Yes, we have footage, but the suspect wore a mask and hat. Unidentifiable. Can I take a look? Jiang Rao went to the computer and played the blurry video. Just a shadow rushing in, grabbing stuff, and running. Everyone had seen it. No useful clues. Jiang Rao slowed it down, frame by frame. He entered left foot first, but the right foot dragged for 0.5 seconds. He has a leg injury, or is a habitual left footer. He grabbed with his right hand, but adjusted his mask with his left. He's hiding that he's left-handed. And here, she pointed at an obscure corner. He instinctively avoided the camera near the counter, but his necklace swung out a small wolf tooth pendant. He turned to me. Yi-chan, at the crimes, did you smell anything unusual? I froze. I can't remember faces, but my smell and hearing are sharp. I closed my eyes, recalling that day. A cheap orange cologne mixed with rust and sweat. Good. Jiang Rao smiled. I couldn't see it, but I heard the joy. Captain, request a list. Prior robbery convictions in 3 years. Left-handed. Leg injury. Lives near West City's old industrial zone. Unemployed. Focus on those who like orange cologne and wear wolf tooth pendants. The captain was skeptical, but complied. 2 hours later, suspect Zhang Ting arrested at home, caught red-handed. He had an old left leg injury and was left-handed. A bottle of orange cologne on the desk. A wolf tooth pendant around the neck. The office was full of disbelief. Jiang Rao walked up to me and whispered, we're partners. Yi-chan, I'll be your eyes. You'll be my nose and ears. In our first month, we solved 3 cold cases. Mine was a burglary. I couldn't recall the suspect's face, but I remembered the unique sound of his shoes scraping the floor. Jiang Rao used that to identify the brand of work boots he wore with worn soles, narrowing the search. One was a fraud case. I couldn't piece together the scammer's face from the victim's description, but I remembered his slight stutter and his habit of tapping the table with his pinky. Jiang Rao used those clues to find a repeat offender with a speech impediment and OCD. Then, there was a bar fight and chaos. Witnesses gave conflicting stories. I couldn't tell anyone apart. Sweating bullets. Jiang Rao told me to close my eyes and ignore their faces. Listen to their voices. Feel their emotions. The bartender who claimed he saw nothing. His heart was racing. He was lying. The blonde girl pointing fingers. Her eyes darted. She kept looking at her hands. She started the fight. And the peacemaker. His booze smelled different. Whiskey, not beer. He wasn't a customer. He was one of them. With his guidance, the tangled clues unraveled. My gratitude turned into dependence. Without him, I was lost. With him, I became the best cop on the force. My colleagues looked at me with more respect. I even heard the captain say, good job. I knew it was all thanks to Jiang Rao. I started to observe him. He was tall, only up to my shoulder. He didn't smoke, always smelled faintly of soap. He only drank warm water. He ate fast, but never made a sound. He was quiet, spoke little, but every word hit the mark. He seemed to know everything. I got used to him being by my side, describing every detail I couldn't remember. The suspect's face, shielding me from crowds, telling me what to do when I was lost. One day after work, I had no umbrella, standing at the station entrance. A black car stopped in front of me. The window rolled down. It was Jiang Rao. I couldn't see his face clearly, but I recognized his car and his soap stand. Get in, I'll drive you. The heater was on. He handed me a hot coffee. No sugar. You should like it. My heart skipped a beat. I only drink black coffee. No sugar. But I never told anyone. How did you know? I observed. He replied calmly, started the car. The wipers moved rhythmically. It was quiet. I held the coffee, watching the rain outside. Coffee was getting cold. Watching the rain. Jiang Rao, thank you. For what? For being my partner. He said, I should be the one thanking you. I looked at him, confused. Yi-chan, you make me feel like I matter. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of Jiang Rao and his voice. I think I have a crush on him. A murder happened in the city. The victim was a young man, killed at home. The scene was clean. No fingerprints, footprints, or hair. This was the third similar case in 3 months. The victims had nothing in common. Different jobs, ages, social circles. The only commonality was they were all single men living alone, and the scenes were spotless. The media called him the ghost killer. Jiang Zhuo and I were assigned to the task force. At a crime scene, the coroner was doing the initial autopsy. I smelled, besides blood, a strange fragrance. Tuberose? Jiang Ru whispered. The killer lit tuberose incense. I nodded. Noting that detail. Any findings? The captain asked. The coroner shook his head, same as the previous two. One stab, instant kill. The weapon was a professional bayonet. No signs of struggles. Likely someone known, or victim was caught off guard. Another familiar suspect. The captain scratched his head. We checked all 3 victims' social circles. No overlap, no leads. This phantom killer is like a perfect crime artist, flaunting his work but leaving no signature. Jiang Ru, gloved, inspected the room closely. He stopped by the window. It was locked from outside, he said, and we all gathered around. This is an old apartment. The window's locked with a latch from inside, but the latch is still in place. Yet the window is shut tight. How? Unless the killer can fly, Jiang Ru. I looked out the window and said, no, he just knows these old windows better. With a thin wire from the gap, you can move the latch. He paused. It takes great patience and a steady hand. I looked at Jiang Ru. Her hands are very steady. I've seen her pick up a fiber thinner than hair from a pile of messy evidence with surgical precision. That detail flashed in my mind. The next few days, the investigation stalled. Daily meetings. Everyone was frustrated. But what if there are none? What if the victims are random? Random, the captain asked. Then what's the motive? Not money, not revenge, not love. Jiang said she just enjoys the process. Killing for him, it's a game. Or a ritual, I asked. Then Jiang said, yes, like tuberose, its flower language is dangerous pleasure. And haven't you noticed? The 3 crime scenes, when connected on a map, form an equilateral triangle. Everyone was stunned. An equilateral triangle. Everyone. We immediately got the map marked. The 3 spots. A perfect equilateral triangle. If I'm right, the next crime scene will be the 4th vertex of a square. Jiang Ru drew a point on the map. The killer is using the whole city to play a game. And at that moment, looking at Jiang Ru, a chill ran through me. She knows this killer too well. Too well, as if she were the killer herself. I started watching Jiang Ru. I told myself, it's just a detective's habit. But my heart knew I was scared. I noticed many small habits. When thinking, he taps the table with his left index and middle finger. A rhythm of 3, long, 2, short. We went to the profiler for the killer's profile. The expert said the killer is extremely disciplined, possibly with mild OCD. He might have unconscious, rhythmic habits. My heart sank. The expert added, from the scene layout, he has a strong sense of ritual. He pursues perfection, can't tolerate flaws. Such a person might be a perfectionist in life too. I thought of Jiang Ru. Her desk is always spotless, files neatly arranged, her attire always impeccable, no wrinkles on her uniform collar. She is such a perfect woman. I started having insomnia, nightmares. In dreams, Jiang Ru's face merged with the killer's shadow, overlapped. I dare not look at her. She seemed to notice my distance. One day, driving to check leads, just the 2 of us in the car. Yi-Chen, what's wrong with you lately? He asked. Nothing. I looked out the window. You're avoiding me. His tone was certain. I said nothing. Is it the pressure from this case? Maybe. I brushed it off. He pulled over and turned to face me. He looked at me. Yi-Chen. I was forced to meet his eyes. His eyes were deep, unreadable. You suspect me? Not a question, a statement. No, I realized my voice was trembling. You said, since I guessed the equilateral triangle, you've suspected me. I can't deny it. Jiang Ru, you think I know the killer too well, right? He cut me off. You think my analysis sounds like a statement, not a guess. I bit my lip and nodded. He suddenly laughed. Yi-Chen, you are a good cop. Doubt is healthy. His reaction surprised me. Know why I figured it out? I shook my head because I minored in criminal psychology. I studied many serial killer cases. The ghost killer's methods are like a historical killer called the clockmaker. Same ritualism, same field, murder as art. His explanation was flawless. Was I too paranoid? Was this case making me neurotic? Sorry, Jiang Ru. I whispered, I shouldn't have doubted you. It's okay. He restarted the car. I said, you are a good cop, but we're partners. I need you to trust me. If you don't trust me, I can't be your eyes. I looked at him. Yes, he was my eyes. How could I doubt my own eyes? After that day, I forced myself not to doubt my own eyes. After that day, I forced myself to stop overthinking. We focused on the area. Jiang Ru marked, doing a great search. But days passed. Nothing. The team's mood grew tense. Everyone thought Jiang Ru's guess was wrong. Only I chose to believe him. I believed not because of evidence, but because I needed him. I couldn't lose this partner or this woman I'd fallen for. The 4th murder scene was exactly where Jiang Ru marked on the map. The whole team was stunned. Jiang Ru became a genius detective. The captain was full of admiration and trust. Colleagues followed his every word. My doubts vanished. If I had voiced my seditions, if everyone had abandoned this lead, the 4th victim, I couldn't bear it. I felt guilty. I had doubted him. Jiang Ru, I'm sorry. In the empty hallway, I apologized. Why say sorry? I shouldn't have. Yi-Chen, he cut me off. I told you, I don't care. I only care if you still trust me. I do, I said, looking at him firmly. He smiled. I still couldn't see his face clearly, but I could feel when he smiled there were nice lines at his eyes. Good. The 4th scene was as clean as the first 3. The victim was a ballerina. Tuberose was there again. The killer was bolder. After inspecting the scene, Jiang Ru concluded, The first 3 scenes were cleaned to hide evidence, but this one had a clue. He picked up an evidence bag with tweezers. Inside was an opera ticket. Carmen. Carmen is a famous courtesan. She toys with men and is stabbed by her lover. A colleague asked, what's the connection? The 4 victims weren't promiscuous men. Maybe the killer is telling us his judgment has nothing to do with worldly morals. Jiang Ru looked at the ticket. He has his own standards. What standards? The captain asked. Jiang Ru shook his head. I don't know, but this ticket is a challenge. The next investigation focused on the ticket. We checked all theaters showing Carmen. Cross-referenced all purchases. Massive work, still no leads. The killer vanished again. My bond with Jiang Ru grew stronger after this successful prediction. He'd bring me breakfast, remember my bad stomach days, and even prepare warm water for me. Colleagues teased us. I denied it, but felt sweet inside. I thought once the case ended, I'd confess to her. I thought we'd always be partners, until the day we chased the suspect. That suspect was just a car thief, unrelated to the ghost killer case. But during the chase, he ran into an abandoned site. I chased too fast, didn't watch my step, and tripped over rebar. My ankle screamed in pain. I fell, watching the suspect flee. Jiang Ru quickly caught up, but instead of chasing the suspect, she ran to me. How is it? Where are you hurt? He asked urgently. My foot, my ankle. He carefully took off my shoe. My ankle, he asked urgently. Foot, ankle. He carefully took off my shoe. My ankle was already badly swollen. Without a word, he carried me on his back. It was solid and warm. I lay on his back, smelling his familiar soap scent. The pain seemed to ease. I'll take you to the hospital. No, it's just a sprain. I said the dorm. We'll be fine. No, we're going to the hospital. But he drove to an unknown direction. Where are we going? My place, he said. I have a first aid kit. More convenient than the hospital. I didn't object. Going to his place even excited me a little. I wanted to see what his life looked like. His home was just like him. Clean, tidy, and meticulous. Black, white, and gray tones were stylish, but lacked warmth. He sat me on the couch, got a first aid kit, and skillfully treated my wound. His movements were gentle. Watching his profile, my heart raced. Done. Don't move much these days, he said after bandaging. Thanks. Does it hurt? I shook my head. He poured me water. It was just the right temperature. Sit tight, I'll get you painkillers. He went to the study. I grew restless. I was very thirsty and finished the water quickly. I wanted to get more myself, not bother him. I held the couch, hopped towards the kitchen. Passing the study, I saw the door ajar. I am not nosy, but somehow I pushed it open. Then I saw something that froze my soul. The study's walls were covered in photos, not landscapes or snapshots, but crime scene photos. The first victim lay in a pool of blood, the second in a bathtub, the third dead on a bedroom bed, the fourth victim, the ballet dancer, frozen in a bizarre pose in the living room. All were ghost killer victims. In the photos, their faces had large red X's drawn on them, and in the center of that wall was a photo of me in casual clothes, eating ice cream in the park. In the photo, I was smiling happily. It was a weekend, my rare day off. I went to the park alone to relax. I had no idea someone was secretly filming me. My photo had no red X, but beside it, in the same vivid red ink, were 2 words, went over. A chill ran through me. My ears rang. I heard nothing. I held the doorframe to keep from collapsing. Jiang Ru, the ghost killer, my partner, the one I love, the woman who said she'd be my eyes. She is the killer. All the doubts and coincidences now made sense. He wasn't profiling the killer, he was describing himself. Why commit those crimes? To get police attention, to lure me into his trap. He chose me as a partner not for my senses, but for my face blindness. I'm the only witness who can never identify him in court. A chill ran down my spine. I heard footsteps. He came out of the study, holding a pill bottle. I had to leave. I turned to run, but at my foot, he came out of the study, holding a pill bottle. I had to leave. I turned to run, but the pain in my ankle made me stumble into the doorframe. Yi-chan, his voice came from behind. I froze, afraid to turn around. What are you doing here? His voice was flat, but I could hear his heartbeat change. I slowly turned, forcing myself not to look at the wall. I looked at him, trying to act normal, looking for the bathroom. My voice trembled. This is my study. He stepped in front of me, blocking my view. The bathroom's that way. He pointed. Okay. I walked past him, head down. As we passed, I smelled that familiar soap, but this time with tuberose and blood. I locked myself in the bathroom. Leaning against the wall, I couldn't stop shaking. I looked in the mirror, pale. What to do? Call the police. What would I say? That I saw the wall? Would he confess? Nobody. He'd say it was case files. That my photo was for protection. Because the killer might target me. No one would believe me. A face-blind accuser is powerless against Star Detective Jiang Ru. They think I'm crazy. And Jiang Ru, knowing I know your secret, would kill me like those men in the photos. Nah, I can't die. I can't let her win. I took a deep breath to calm down. Fear is useless. I must survive. I turned on the tap, splashed cold water on my face. When I looked up, my expression was back to how I looked at Jiang Ru. I composed myself and walked out casually. Jiang Ru was waiting on the sofa. Feeling better? He asked. Much better. I smiled. The medicine? He handed me the bottle and a glass of water. Without hesitation, I took the pill. I had to make him believe I knew nothing. I hoped he still saw me as the Yi-chan, who depended on, trusted, and even adored him. It's late. I'll take you back to the dorm. Okay. On the way back, we chatted about the case as usual. I tried to sound normal, but I could feel him watching me through the rearview mirror. I pretended to look out the window. At the dorm, he opened the door for me. Your food wants me to help you up? No, I'm fine. I refused quickly. I didn't want to spend another second with him. Be careful. I limped into the building. Only in the elevator did I dare look back. His car was still there. He hadn't left. He was watching. Back in my room, I locked the door and collapsed. My back was soaked with cold sweat. Those few minutes drained me. I was safe, but only temporarily. I knew he'd act soon. The trap was set for me. I couldn't wait. I turned on my computer and searched for everything on the clockmaker killer. Jianru said the ghost killer is imitating her. That's a clue. The clockmaker is an extremely arrogant serial killer. He'll surrender after the last victim, reveal all his methods, and bask in praise. If Jianru is copying him, then he'll have that reveal too. And I'm his last victim. He won't let me die easy. He'll stage a grand show. He wants not my life, but to see me broken and desperate before death. She wants greatness. A narcissistic female killer, and narcissism is her biggest weakness. Use that narcissism to turn the tables. In the following days, I acted more dependent. Let him bring breakfast, organize files, gaze adoringly as he analyzed cases. He seemed to enjoy it. His look grew softer, hiding a knowing control and a hint of pity. I started using my weakness to pave my way. Mistook a few colleagues' names, drawing friendly laughs. Mistook the captain, reported to the deputy. I constantly, in front of everyone, reinforced my severe face blindness. I made everyone believe I couldn't identify anyone. Meanwhile, I prepared another plan, a tiny recording device hidden in my pendant. I also contacted a trusted friend, a senior in tech. I didn't tell him everything, just said I was being stalked, needed a small gadget, a real-time tracker with an emergency alarm. I disguised it as a brooch on my daily coat. Jianru seemed satisfied with my state. She stopped probing me with that look. She started chatting about non-case topics, her past, her childhood. Said her parents were scholars, very strict. She lived under expectations, lonely. Only in criminal psychology did she find herself. She liked watching criminals struggle and rage. It made her feel normal. She was showing her inner world, setting the stage for her finale, guiding me to understand her. I listened intently, nodding coherently in sympathy, but inside I felt cold hatred. Her loneliness doesn't justify taking lives. Friday, she asked me to dinner after work. I know a new place, nice atmosphere. She said, I know, it's time. Okay, I smiled, but my palms were sweaty. The restaurant was remote, a private club, looked upscale, no other guests. Seems she booked the whole place. Long table with elegant candles and flowers, two bros. The strong scent nauseated me. Like it? She pulled out my chair. Beautiful. I sat down, forcing a natural smile. She sat opposite, poured 2 glasses of red wine, Yichen, a toast. Yichen, how long have we known each other? Over 3 months. These 3 months have been the happiest of my life. He looked at me, focused. If I didn't know his true self, I'd be moved by his affection. Me too, I whispered. Aren't you curious? He swirled his glass. About what? Why I chose you as my partner. My heart raced. Here it comes. His act begins. Why? I asked. Because you're special, he said. You can't see this world. So you see what others miss? Your ears, your nose, your heart. They're more honest than eyes. And he set down his glass, live in darkness. I long to be seen, not by shallow eyes, but by a pure soul like yours. He spoke so passionately. Jianru, remember our first case, the robber Jiang Ting? I nodded. Know why I caught him so fast? Isn't it your observation? He smiled and shook his head. Because that case was my design. I widened my eyes, feigning shock. I anonymously reported a robbery at the dead jewelry store. I leaked Jiang Ting's info to an informant. Everything was to show you, everyone, my skill. Why? To be your partner, to get close to you. He stood and walked to me, leaned down, looking at me. As for the ghost killer, he whispered in my ear, that's my gift for you. My body began trembling uncontrollably, even prepared. Hearing him admit it, deep fear still grew inside me. My recorder was working, my brooch too. Senior should have my location, but I needed more him to say. He killed them gift, I asked, voice broken. I don't understand. Their sacrifices, his voice full of fervor. Their deaths are the prelude, and you, Yichen, are my finale. My masterpiece. You killed them. Yes, he straightens, smiling smugly. I killed them. The first, to test police response. The second, to test my counter-surveillance. The third, to leave a triangle clue. The fourth, to prove I was right. You madman! I yelled. I'm not mad. He touched my cheek, sickeningly gentle. I love you. I did it all for you. Yichen, don't be scared. You won't die like them. I'll give you a grand finale, he said, pulling out a syringe with clear liquid. This will make you forget all pain. You'll enter a beautiful dream. Then be with me forever. He grabbed my wrist. I struggled. No, let go. Don't move, Yichen. It'll be quick. His grip was strong. I couldn't break free. The needle got closer. Just then, closer to my skin. Just then, the restaurant door burst open. Freeze! Police, dozens of cops and vests, rushed in. Guns aimed at Jianru. He froze. Stunned, he stared at the cops, then back at me. How? I shook him off and scrambled behind the captain. Your plan? He asked, confused. I didn't answer. He was pinned down and handcuffed. He didn't resist. He stared at me, asking, why? How did you know? You couldn't see my face. Even as he was let out, he kept repeating it. Yes, I can't see his face. I can't remember his face. Legally, I can't be a valid witness. This was the perfect part of his plan, but he miscalculated. My face blindness made me forget faces, but it also made me remember other details perfectly. I remember his tapping rhythm, his walk, I remember his soap scent, and the tuberose he used to mask the blood. Most importantly, I remember his heartbeat. In the interrogation room, we faced each other for the last time. When did it start? He asked. When I saw that wall at your place, I replied. Why didn't you expose me then? Because I knew you wouldn't believe I saw it. You'd think I only saw what you wanted me to see. He fell silent. My face blindness was his weapon, but also my camouflage. He wasn't sure how much I saw. That uncertainty stopped him from acting immediately. It gave me time to set a trap. Our recording was ready. Yes. From the moment I asked you to dinner, you knew what I was going to do. Yes, he laughed a bit bitterly. I thought I was the hunter, and you the prey. I looked at him calmly. I said, one last question. He looked up, staring deep into my eyes. Did you love me? I looked at his face, the one I'd seen daily for over 3 months. It was still blurry to me. I couldn't read his expression. Couldn't match it to any memory. To me, he was just a voice, a scent, a heartbeat. I told him, I may not remember your face, but I remember your heartbeat when you loved me and when you killed. When you loved me, it was steady and strong like warm tides. But when you confessed at the restaurant, ready to kill me, your heartbeat was fast and wild, full of excitement. I'll never forget. He collapsed after hearing that. He lowered his head, shoulders shaking. I couldn't tell if he was crying or laughing. I stood up, walked out of the room. The door closed behind me, cutting off our past. The sun felt warm. Later, Zhang was sentenced to death. After his death, I got a letter from his lawyer. It had just one line. Yichen, I finally made you truly see me. I tore the paper and threw it into the wind. I no longer need to see through others' eyes. I've learned to see the world with my own heart.